and love. You have to tell us how these values could be incorporated to sustain the Indian traditions of a secular society. Yeah, our ethos, our values, our heritage, our culture, years of our touch upon that. Any society at any given time is a manifestation of its civil systems and their evolution. The cross currents of knowledge and thought process is proud of unity in diversity. It is our greatest strength, but we cannot complain about it. Alag bhasha, alag weight will be अपना एक देश way of living. So आदि काल से, वेद काल से, पुण्य काल से, पुराण काल से हमारे पूर्वजों ने दिया और दिया हमको विरासत में मिला. वही हमारा भारतीय परंपरा है, संस्कृति है. Friends, these are the times of global exploitation of natural resources. Now poses serious questions on the very survival of planet Earth. The trend, as Reddy was mentioning it, the trend has to be reversed. People are looking towards India, which has to show the path. Let me recall what Arnold Toynbee concluded after in-depth analysis of the modern civilization. I quote, "It is already becoming clear that a chapter which had a Western beginning will have to have an Indian ending if it is not to end in the self-destruction. Any chapter which begins with a Western this thing should end with an Indian ending." This is what the finding of not an Indian. At this supremacy dangerous moment in human history, the only way of salvation for mankind is the Indian way. Emperor Ashoka's and Mahatma Gandhi's principles of non-violence and Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's testimony to the harmony of religions. Here we have an attitude and spirit that can make it possible for the human race to grow together into a single family, and in the atomic age, this is the only alternative to destroying ourselves. This has to be taken serious note by one and all. We had a great global responsibility. We have a great global responsibility. Social cohesion and religious community are the pillars on which nations attempt to fulfill their dreams of providing a dignified and decent life to their citizens. Transparency elevates these efforts. It must lead to universal democratic participation. We know all the defects in the process of elections and functioning of some of our institutions. We look towards scholars of your stature to study and analyze the trends and come forward with a tangible and pragmatic solution. It is not that much easy, I am aware. You can't diagnose the weakness and disease of politicians. Politics is now based on not on ideology, it is based on most on opportunism. That is unfortunate of politics in this country. People change parties like the children change their clothes. This is unfortunate. And political parties are splitting. The new party also have seen what is happening. I am only trying to make an academic study, not to make a political criticism. People are not able to work together. For a successful democracy, you need an ideology. For a successful democracy, you need an organization. For a successful democracy in the modern age, you need a leader. A leader, then a cadre, and then an ideology. And then coupled with an ideal behavior. That is the need of the hour, which is lacking in most of the political parties, unfortunately. We must go back. We must go back to our roots, our traditions, the value systems which our forefathers have given to us, because the world is looking towards India. The world might have moved forward, but now they are looking again back to India. They want the spiritual guidance of India. They want the Indian value systems. They want the family system, which is one of the most happiest thing in our life. The family system, the mother, the brother, the sister, the daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, grandmother, all living together. That gives the immense happiness for anybody. Rather than putting them in here and there kiosks and all and going once in a way for a Mother's Day and other Mother's Day or Father's Day and tell them, okay, you are alive, thank you very much. Eat the cake and survive for the next year. His sister married first and then only he wanted to marry. That is the value. There is nothing to do with religion. This is nothing to do with religion. This is the civilization aspect. So this is the civilization we have to preserve. We have to teach. We have to pass on to the new generation. And we have to motivate them to see that this civilization survives on a sound footing. These are the requirements. The advent of unexpected developments in the information and communication sector has opened up new vistas before practically everyone. Only those who have the initiative and courage to move with the times shall benefit. As the entire world is talking of golden period of demographic dividend for India, the average Indian youth age is 29 years. That is the biggest asset for India. World is aging, but India is young. That's an advantage for this country. We have to ensure that our younger persons are well versed in Indian culture, history and tradition. They must be proud of India. Social sciences have to evolve a sound strategy for this emerging challenge. Because of the Western culture, because of the obscenity, vulgarity and violence that is being practiced and professed in certain cine and other entertainment channels also, now value system is going down, public order is going down. So we have to again guide our younger generation. Grave misconceptions still prevail on India's contribution to global civilization. It is obligatory on the part of eminent scholars like you to present a realistic and historic account of this aspect. The continuity and relevance of the Indian tradition of knowledge generation, creation, dissemination and utilization has been acknowledged as unique that aims to Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata, for the welfare of all. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Why should our young persons not to be familiar with it? What is religion? What is spirituality? Do these fall in the domain of science or superstition? Religion is as old as humanity in different forms and predates science thousands of years. There is a quoting somewhere that some discussion was there in Parliament saying that Naidu has given a scientific temper and what this minister is doing. The minister came with one line reply. Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind. This is said by Einstein. Einstein, the great scientist, he said this. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. So you have to blend. Albert Einstein and his famous aphorism has been the source of endless debate between believers and non-believers, wanting to claim the greatest scientist of the 20th century as their own. So friends, a little known letter written by him, however, may help to settle the argument or at least provoke further controversy, further controversy about his views. Friends, is there a God? Nobody can say yes. Is there no God? Nobody can say no. God is there, God is not there. Where is He? He is there in you and me. He is not there in you and me. If you are not pure, be sure. He is there everywhere. You don't believe Him, don't believe Him. Nobody is forcing you. You must believe God only. Who is forcing you? When you are in difficulties, then He will come. And then you remember Him. And you pray for Him. But God, the debate about this, is it necessary now to have this debate? Famous French philosopher Voltaire said, there is no God, but there is need for one. He said there is no God, but said at the same time said there is need for one. So keeping that in mind, for many God is a convenient construction who controls the scheme of unknown things. Religion is a set of principles for an orderly living. Can a Nobel Prize winning scientist go to church or a mosque or a temple and still be a scientist? Why not? Surya Bhagavantam used to go to Satya Sai Baba. You may not believe, I may not believe. And then Dr. Radhakrishna, this President Radhakrishna ISRO, he went to Tirupati before that to seek the blessings. Is Lord Venkaiah making it successful or the great scientists who have done it successful? You can go on having a debate like this. It gives confidence. Believing in God or believing in religion, believing in spirituality give you confidence. Without confidence, you cannot proceed at all. You will be depressed and then oppressed and then suppressed mentally. So that has to be understood by one and all. Of scientific temper. In the directive principles of our Constitution, it has been enjoined. This, in my view, suggests that the equity of human life needs to be taken knowledge as a record of human achievements in comprehending the complexities of life
and survival in often unfriendly environments, traditional knowledge, which may be technical, social, organizational, or cultural, is obtained as part of the great human experiment of survival and development. Going by this definition, our country had the great ancient traditions of knowledge, including in the domains of mathematics, science, engineering, metallurgy, etc. However, one finds that generally the history science as commonly taught is mostly Eurocentric. I'm sorry to say. Then it fast forwards to many centuries to the enlightened period around 1500 AD to claim modern sciences as exclusive European victory by neglecting the influence of others, especially India, upon the European Renaissance and Enlightenment. The European Dark Ages is presumed to be dark worldwide, when in fact the rest of the world thrived with innovation and prosperity, while Europe was at the periphery until the conquest of America in 1492. This has to be understood by one and all. Thanks largely to Arab scholars, the important role of Islamic empires in the transmission of ideas to Europe has become better appreciated. However, many discoveries and innovations of India, as acknowledged by the Arab translators themselves, are often depicted as being Arab origin, when in fact Arabs transmitted what they have learned from India over to Europe. That's how they learned here and transmitted to Europe. The British colonizers would never accept the fact that Indians were highly civilized even in the 3rd millennium BC, when the British were still in barbarian stage. It was because such acknowledgement would destroy the civilizing mission of Europe that was the intellectual premises for colonization. Meanwhile, a new history of India was fabricated to ensure that present and future generations of mentally colonized people would believe in the inherent inferiority of their own traditional knowledge, and it is the superiority of the colonizers' modern knowledge has come. This has been called Machiavellianism, named after Lord Macaulay, who championed this strategy of British starting in 1830s. Robert Clive the Great, that is the history. A fellow who came to conquer India, came here to rob India. We call him as Robert Clive the Great in our history. That was history taught to me when I was a student. When the world was not having civilization, there was civilization in India. People used to weave clothes, saris, and put them in match bags and then used to export them to other countries. That is the great civilization of this country. Unfortunately, many of India's intellectual elite continued to promote the notion that pre-colonial India was feudalistic, pre-rational, and by implication in need of being invaded for its own benefit, as if they have done a benefit to us. It is important to note that amongst all the conquered, colonized civilizations of the world, India is unique. Its wealth was industrial and created by the ingenuity and labor of workers. In all other instances, such as Native Americans, the plunder by the colonizers was mainly land, gold, and other natural resources. But in India's case, the colonizers had a windfall of extraordinary profit margin from control of India's exports and its economic production, and eventually the transfer of technology and production to Britain. This compromised immense transfer of wealth from India. From being the world's major exporting economy, India was the world's major exporting economy. Earlier, India was reduced to an importer of goods from being the source of much of the economic capital that funded Britain's industrial revolution. It became one of the biggest debt nations from its innovative status as the wealthiest nation. It became a land synonymous with poverty from a nation with the largest number of prestigious centers of higher learning that attracted students from Eurasia. It became the land with the highest number of illiterates. This remains a major untold history. Today, 40% of the Indian people are illiterate. They do not know how to write and how to read. This is an unfortunate state of affairs. They reflect on our ancient knowledge, traditions in the domains of mathematics, astronomy, science, including medical sciences, including Ayurveda and yoga, etc. Gupta discussed methods of multiplication and used place values the way it is being done now. Absurd. Absurd. How can one person talk of having 6 children? How can he be cruel to a woman like this? That's an issue. Again, now some people trying to undermine Gandhiji here and all. These are all isolated incidents, and these comments should not be taken seriously at all. They have to be totally ignored and whenever necessary condemned, but we must move ahead. We have a great past, we have a heritage, we have a culture. The Prime Minister Modi is committed to give a new deal to the people of the country based on the inclusive development through empowerment of each and every individual to do his best and get his due by unleashing new opportunities through rapid economic development. The great man who was awarded Bharat Ratna the other day, he brought the connectivity revolution in the country. Air connectivity, rail connectivity, highway connectivity, rural connectivity, tele-connectivity, television connectivity, port connectivity and political connectivity. Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee has done it. Connectivity has made this country strong. He brought such a revolution. Chennai to Kolkata, Kolkata to Delhi, Delhi to Jaipur, Jaipur to Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad to Mumbai, Mumbai to Bangalore to Krishnagiri, Dharmapuri, Kanyakumari, four-way highway, 50 years one way, in 5 years got four-way highway. That's the need of the hour. We must move on. We must go for new technologies. The IIT people yesterday told me that they have developed a new scheme wherein you can construct a house in 40 days. It's surprising. Gypsum. Studies. We have 40 days, 80 days, 120 days. Now, that's why the Prime Minister gave a call of 3S mantra. Skill, scale and speed. Skill, scale and speed. Speed is the need of the hour. But if you want to move faster, science, social science must come to really the aid of the people. And as I told you, if you give an opportunity, Indian people, they have inherent strength. We have seen television. Earlier, 50 years, only one channel. Doordarshan, dur se darshan karna, black and white dekhna. But now you have hundreds of channels. You have breaking news, good news, bad news, nahi to khud unka news. You need to connect Ganga and Kaveri. You need to go for rainwater harvesting. You need to go for water recycling. You need to invent methods for better sanitation. The Swachh Bharat is a movement. It had to be converted into a people's movement. It should not be a government program. This is what PM told me. इसको एक जन आंदोलन बनाना है, ऐसा प्रधानमंत्री ने मुझे बताया है. मैं बहुत संतोष महसूस करता हूँ. आजकल बच्चा लोग भी स्वच्छ भारत में रुचि ले रहे हैं. कोई लड़की, मेरा ग्रैंड डॉटर बता रहे थे, उनका स्कूल में चॉकलेट खा के कोई लड़की उसको छोड़ना चाहिए तो दूसरे लड़के उसको पकड़ के बता रहे हैं स्वच्छ भारत मोदी. So this message is going down. But unless everybody performs, Swachh Bharat cannot be one day activity. It's like your beard. You shave it today, tomorrow it will come back again. If you say that I don't shave it for 6 months, then you will become a sadhu or a yogi. So you have to, similarly, Swachh Bharat also is a program wherein the entire society has to take part and then make it success. The Prime Minister gave a 3S mantra and also he gave a program of MISI-DC. MISI-DC is the name given by me, but the program is given by him. MISI-DC means MI, Make in India, SI, Skill India, DI, Digital India, CI, Screen India, MI, SI, DI, CI, MISI-DC is Make in India, Skill India, Digital India and Clean India. That is the need of the hour. In making these programs, we need your brains, your new ideas, your knowledge from ancient scriptures and texts so that we can move forward in a better manner. Today, I am happy we are seeing the way all our scientists are showing their great talent, how they are achieving great success in various science. Advancement of science is for the betterment of humanity. That should be for betterment of humanity, not for destruction. It should be for construction. That should be the approach, and I hope the coming 5 days, when you people are meeting here in this university, I also would like to compliment and salute the great man, Professor Murthy, who has contributed his earnings for creation of this institution, for this auditorium here in the university which he has worked. So everybody should remember Kanna Talli, mother who has given birth, Janma Bhumi, the place where you are born, Matru Bhasha, the language which has come from our mother's womb, and Matru Desam, the country which has taken care of you. So this man has shown the route. The road. See, he did not forget the university which has given that opportunity. I am told even his son also continued it after the demise of Professor Murthy. That should be ideal for others. Friends, I would like to really express my sincere thanks for the organizers of this social congress. I can assure you the recommendation of the Congress will be debated and discussed not only across the country but also within the department. I also agree with Professor Chaubeji that political parties must come out with their own vision, with their own agenda. What is their thinking about education? What is their thinking about education? Because people have a right to know who is going to do what. And then there has to be a sense of accountability also in future. I shall keep these suggestions in mind. It's a rare privilege given to me. As I told you, I am an illiterate before intelligentsia. I am speaking only out of my own common sense.